Are you a business owner or employee who needs to network but is terrified of walking into a room full of people you don't know? Are you afraid of being left out of conversations or being awkward in the conversations you do have? Your tour guide, Faithann, is here to walk alongside you through the networking terrain, offering tips and tricks to network with ease. Grab your sunscreen and suitcase. Faithann is ready. Are you?
Welcome to this episode of the Networkers Tour Guide podcast. I'm your host, Faith Ann. New and returning listeners come for networking tips and tricks, and you get your networking questions answered one episode at a time. We are in the middle of our Realtor-Ready series, highlighting the real estate industry and all of the different professions and transactions that happen getting a home from listed to the closing table. And we're going to be talking about networking in these rooms with realtors and all the industries that are supported by real estate. And I am so thrilled to invite two very competent and warm friends of mine who are in the knee deep in the real estate industry. So I'm welcoming Dyndi Gibson with McGraw Realtors. Dyndi, thank you for saying yes.
Thank you, and thank you for having me, Faizan.
Yes, thank you for saying yes. We've known each other for a really long time. Dyndi and I met networking. I think it was probably the Moore Chamber that we first met each other, and we've stayed on each other's radars, even though we haven't really been networking in the same rooms recently. But for a while there, we were in the same room week after week, and I got to know Dyndi pretty well. And then Dyndi invited Kim Case with Smith Brothers Abstracting and Title. And I think I met Kim through the Moore Chamber as well. Kim, thank you for coming on to the podcast with Dyndi.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Kim has been networking and she is a powerful networker as well. So, what I wanted to talk about is how you, Kim, and Dyndi kind of connected at first, and how have you developed a very professional relationship where the referrals are going back and forth? So, you want to just start by telling how you guys met and what that relationship has been like?
Kim and I met right at the beginning of my career, probably about 2013, 14, right after I got my license. And she was working in marketing at another title company at the time. And we just seemed to hit it off very well in the very beginning. Our personalities were very much aligned with each other. And at the time, we were both single, and we ran around and we went to dinners and just really enjoyed each other and got to know each other on a personal level as well as a professional level. And I think that that means a lot when you're out networking is you want to get to know the people that you are going to work with. And then Kim and I have remained friends. Our lives have changed a lot in the last 10, 12 years. And we have, I think our friendship has really grown and deepened in that time.
Thank you for sharing that. So, Kim, what was your first impression of Dyndi?
Absolutely fell in love with her. She was so fun and vibrant, and you wanted to get to know her just from her smile, and um, she knew so many people. Kind of wanted to connect with her, to be connected with others. So she was just a lot of fun and still is. Still, she's the life of the party.
Yeah, I agree. So Kim, you said something interesting. You said that you knew early on that Dindy knew a lot of people. What kind of gave you that clue? If you can think back, how did you know that she knew a lot of people?
Well, when we first met at a major Moore Chamber event, she everyone greeted her and talked with her, and you just watched her work a room, and you're like, I need to get to know this gal. She's got some good connections, and I'd like to be a part of that.
That's really cool. And so now I'm really interested, Kim, to know, as you're watching Dindy work the room, as you put it, what do you tell yourself in order to have the umption, the courage to seek her out and say, that's the person I want to get to know better?
I went up and introduced myself, and we talked a little bit, and we decided that to talk more. Um, so we met for lunch, had our first one-on-one, and we had a great conversation. Um, and it just, she was able to connect me with some good people, a lot of different areas of the industry, a different, roofers and home inspectors and that kind of thing, and more realtors. That's where I was really wanting that to go, was to be more in tune and in touch with realtors.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Dindy, how did you early on develop relationships with other realtors?
That was really when I went to real estate school, I went to actually Charles Barnes was the only real estate school South Oklahoma City that actually met in person. So there were probably 30 people in that class, and three people passed the class. So we were really tight in that class. We all studied together. We would have dinner. And that's what's important to me is I came from a hospital surgical background where I would be in a room 12 to 14 hours a day with the same five people. On Mondays, on Tuesdays, the
Mm.
same five people, different surgeon, but different nurses and surgery staff. So getting out and networking was very, very hard for me. Luckily, I'm a very social person and I have a very unique name. So it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be because people would remember my name. And if they always saw a smile on my face and I looked approachable, then they would come up and visit with me. Most of the time when I first started, I kind of stood in the corner.
Mm.
And then, I met Kim and we would go and see each other in a room and we would take off and, hey, I want you to meet this person. I want you to meet this person. And I'm always willing to help that way. If I'm going to, I always tell all new agents in my office, if you want to learn how to network, come with me and I will introduce you to everyone that I know.
Mhm.
And then you can take it from there. And if you're afraid or overwhelmed, which when you walk into a networking group and there's 40 people there, who's not going to be overwhelmed, especially if you don't know anybody?
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell everyone, find someone that you know and go up and just stand with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you're a part of whatever they're talking about. And most of the time, that person will introduce you to who they're talking to. And then if it's somebody that is on your radar that you need to learn about their business or you think you might could help them, there's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think one of my early blog articles, this was not my idea, but I can't remember where I got it, but two friends had a signal, like a little way to communicate to each other in the midst of these networking rooms. When one wanted in the conversation for a strategic introduction, they had a signal so that the other one knew, oh, this is really an important introduction that I need you to make on my behalf now, rather than just a casual conversation. So, and something you said, Dindy said that her and Kim were together, and that made all the difference. This sounds like what you're saying is like two of you in a room full of strangers is so much easier than one of you in a room full of
Mhm.
strangers.
Yes, because you always have somebody to, if the conversation ends and you're standing there awkwardly, you have someone to go back to.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're talking to someone else, and maybe that's the person that, you may want to meet or someone that you need to know. That's always helpful.
Yeah. So let's talk about maybe the first time one of you referred the other. Do you happen to remember how it happened first? Dindy, did you use Kim first, or Kim, did you refer Dindy first, or how did the actual referral happen?
Well, since Kim was working at a title company at the time, you're only, as a realtor, I feel that you're only as good as what your team is.
Mhm.
So you've got to build trust And you have to make sure that if I refer someone to the title company Kim's working for, that they're going to take care of my clients and take care of me.
Mhm.
And that is very important. Trust is a huge part of this business. And you have to be able to trust the people that you're working with. And if there's a problem, you have to be able to call that person and talk to them and get it worked out. And that was very easy for Kim and I. If there were any issues, she would go to, whichever title company, because there were several around the metro. And it depends on what part of the city I'm selling, that I'm going to go closest to wherever the property is. So Kim may be working with me one day in Yukon, and then she may be working with me in Midwest City. It just depends on what part of the city. So that was really important for me too, and always worked out very, very well.
So, Dindy, did you have any opportunities to see Kim work before you sent her your first referral or the first deal? Do you remember being able to see her? Maybe you went by her office or you just were able to see her in action to kind of help with that trust? Or was the first time that she actually did a deal with you was the very first time that you sent a referral?
No, I had not seen her working beforehand. Most of her working was she worked in marketing, so she was out at these networking events, and that was where she worked. But the more I got to know Kim, the more that I trusted her
Mm-hmm.
and I valued her opinion. And, it wasn't every deal that I did that I took to her title company. And the business doesn't work that way. So she was never upset about that, and always offered help if I needed some help, or I needed pens or notebook paper or whatever I needed for brokers opens or gift cards or things that I may need for a broker's open. She was always willing to help.
So Kim, when the first listing, or I don't know how you what you call them, but the paperwork that you knew it was Dindy, did your heart flutter a little bit? Like, okay, we gotta really make sure this one goes well.
Yes, yes. I got notification that we had an order come across for Dindy. Yes, I went to the closer and said, I've really been working on this gal. We want to make sure that everything goes right. And we did have a hiccup, once or twice, and we got those ironed out, and we were able to work through those. So she was just from then on, they knew they saw her name that it was one of mine. So
Mm.
uh,
Yeah, that's similar to with window cleaning. When the crew would be out for the day, and I'd be like, okay, that house right there,
mm,
that's one of my people. Let's
yeah,
and of course we want them to do a good job with every single
the call
customer.
Course.
out exactly.
But there
Of course.
is that little bit of like, okay, that's my person.
That
Yeah.
was my friend.
Yeah,
Don't you make me look bad.
right. Right. So, and then the other thing Dindy mentioned was, this is so important. She said Kim was always there to help. Even if I wasn't using her, she was available for help. And that is a theme. That's what last week's guest, Dirk, he's a home inspector. And one of his tips was be a resource. Even if
Yes.
even if the realtor's not using you, find a way to be a resource. So what from both of you, what does that do for you when you're working with people when they're willing to be a resource for you, even if you aren't using them in particular?
It's a huge help. If I have questions about maybe a real estate contract that has come through, and I don't understand because that's how we fill out, for the final paperwork. And I don't understand what this mark meant or what maybe they meant to do. I can call Dindy and she'll say, explain to me how to interpret that particular contract. Um, And I want to feel that I have given her the same background in title. If a commitment comes in and they don't understand a requirement, that they could call me if they're not getting the answers that they needed, or in a timely manner, that I would be able to help her with what needs to be done to clear that requirement.
Right, and it pays off. It may not pay off immediately, but it's
Yeah.
a long future looking thing of being this resource is powerful when it pays off because they know they can trust you, and that does eventually lead to more business in the real estate industry and really in all business. Being the resource, it doesn't mean you have to. There's always a line between somebody taking advantage of you and your knowledge, but a quick question, a clarification, that's always helpful and useful, and it's just more useful than you think in the moment.
Hey, networkers! If you want your next one-to-one to go beyond swapping business cards, Faith Ann's got something for you. She created a free resource called 10 Questions to Ask in a One-to-One. It's packed with thoughtful questions that help you get to know someone and leave a lasting impression. Click on the 10 Questions link in the show notes and download this resource today.
Definitely. I can give her a scenario and she can give me, basically an idea of how to clear that, how to work that particular scenario out. And that helps out a lot when
Yeah.
you've got those direct lines to people that have that kind of knowledge.
that you trust and
Hmm.
Mhm,
you know are going to be honest with you and tell you whether it's good news or bad news, it still has to be said.
mhm.
And that you're not going to, it's not meant to hurt your feelings, but this is what needs to be done. Or, it's very helpful for me when there's abstracting issues. That is, the abstract is just insane to me that it goes back to the land run and all
Even
the
before.
things before the land run
Mhm.
and all the things that happen to this one parcel of property up until today. And so sometimes there's liens that have been on there, there's people's names are wrong, all kinds of things and all kinds of scenarios. That would be a whole different story right there, all the things that come up, but some of it's confusing.
Mhm.
And when you see those things, it's great to have resources, um, like Kim that I can say, "Hey, what does this mean?" Because I've never seen that before. Real estate, we know a lot about a lot of things, but there's so much. I learn something new every single
Every day.
day,
Mhm.
and it's helpful to have people there with you that can help,
Guide you.
guide you through that process, really.
Right. And in a relationship way, not a transaction way.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and the more value you can bring to the table for everyone involved, the better that you're gonna be at networking.
Mhm.
Yes.
I don't ever go into a networking event and hand someone my card. I always go when I wanna know, "How are you? Do you have kids? Where do they
Mhm.
go to school? Where do you live?" I'm a realtor. If you have realtor questions, they'll ask me.
Mhm.
But other than that, I wanna know, who are you as a person?
We want to get to know them as people, um, and what they do is a bonus for the networking process.
Right. I tell people, watch when their eyes light up. And when you ask them a question and their eyes light up, you stay on that topic. And a lot of times it's not what they do. They're there because, they're representing their company or they're an employee, but their passion is quilting or their passion is, skydiving or something or bull
Mhm.
riding for Dyndi. And
Yeah.
so we want to stay on these. We want to give our networking friends some good chemicals up in their brain, and we can easily do that by just paying attention when those
Mhm.
eyes light up. and the big smile spreads across their face, then you say, okay, we're going to hang out here and talk about skydiving for a little while, because the next time that person needs me, needs my service, I may come to their mind because of the conversation we had, even though it wasn't a sales conversation.
Of course, because you're establishing that you are interested in
Then,
them.
interested in them. And I
Yeah.
always try, if I'm just talking with someone and someone walks up into the conversation, I'd love to say, "Hey, do you know so and so?" That way you can introduce them to, maybe they hadn't met, or, that way they can be included in that conversation. Um,
Or I say, hey, wait, Kim loves to skydive. Just a minute. I don't, but let me get you two together because you're going to have that conversation and I'm going to go over here and meet somebody that likes to pet dogs.
Right. Right. It's all about, this one big giant connecting exercise, and people connect over different things. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about brokers opens, because in this real estate series, that's probably going to be a theme, brokers opens. So for your new realtors and new industries that support the realtors, so that's going to be title, roofing. What are some do's and don'ts that you guys have learned about, specifically when it comes to brokers opens?
Brokers opens, they take a lot of work. You've got to advertise them, get it known when it's going to be. Unfortunately, there needs to be, to draw people in. There's got to be food. There's got to be, uh,
Gift
maybe
cards.
yeah, door
Door prizes.
prizes or something to draw the realtors in to look at it. That's on brokers opens. And realtors do a lot of open houses, and that's for the public to come in. There's a difference between open houses and brokers opens. Brokers opens are only for, realtors that come in to look at the house. Maybe they've got a buyer that's looking in that area. Open houses are for the public to come in, to look at the house. I don't know the ratio that of people that come through those. We could have 2 to 25. It's hard to gauge.
Mm-hmm. But brokers opens, the purpose of a brokers open is to get more realtors to see the property. Is that
Correct.
right? And an open house is just to get more general buyers to see the property.
Yes.
Yes.
And the reason why there's a lot of sponsorships and all of that for the brokers opens is because these supporting professionals are providing value. Again, back what we were talking about, because I used to do some of that too with Window Cleaning Plus. I would provide, a gift card, let's say, at a broker's open, and I'm building some goodwill with that realtor, because
Yeah.
maybe their next listing, the windows are atrocious. And I'm the one giving the gift card, not my competitor. So that's the thing about the brokers opens. That's why you've got the roofers and the
Insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So have you had anything that you've just found that makes a good draw? You've mentioned the gift cards and the food. Is there popular food or popular gift card that kind of draws everybody in, or the other realtors?
I'm seeing a lot of, with everything changing, with AI and social media and things like that. I've been to several brokers opens where they've been filming, like they'll give you a script and then you can film a TikTok video or just a quick 2 lines about the house, something like that. And then they're having professional videographers come out and film those and make little clips. And then they send those to you so you can use them on your social media. So it's a lot more advertising, or they'll offer free headshots because we know how many realtors still out there have their glamour shot from the 80s with the big hair. And that's still on their business card. And so they're offering, a free headshot event. Come to this broker's open and you can get headshots done. That's very valuable to a lot of agents because a lot of agents, real estate is hard.
Yeah.
And
It's money out of your pocket.
and it's very expensive, and a lot of people don't realize that. And so if I can go to a broker's open and get free headshots, well, that's going to save me $200 to $300 right there, booking with a photographer for 2 or 3 pictures.
Right. So now that gets me curious, Dindy, if I've got a photographer in the audience who really wants to get in with some realtors in his or her area, what's a classy move, or what's a attention grabbing move that a photographer might win you over, or just begin this relationship?
Well, I hosted a TV show there for a little while, so flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. So Dindy had a TV show, so a photographer watch the show and come to her with something specific about it. Not just, I loved you on that show, but specifically, what I loved about your latest episode was, you know,
Exactly, yes. And it's great that I get that a lot. And what really got me in the very beginning, which, I would post things on Facebook before videos and the TV show and all of that, um, I would post my dog pictures, just pictures of my dog doing silly things. Well, the funniest part was my dog, we painted her tail. We didn't paint her tail. We dyed her tail pink, hot pink, because we live in an acreage neighborhood. She loves to run when the door opens, so she just takes off and we can't see her. So therefore, we had to have her tail dyed so we could see her running across these yards to catch her. And it was amazing to me that I would go to these networking events with 50, 60 people, and 3 or 4 people would come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, your dog Frenchie is the cutest thing." And in the beginning, I'd be like, "What? Where'd you see my dog? What are you talking? I don't even know you." Yet they saw it on Facebook, and people pay attention, and you have no idea. They always say people are watching, and you have no idea until someone comes up and says something specific they've seen. And so many people knew about my dog. So
Mhm.
then I started sending out dog day cards
Mm.
just because everybody knew about my dog. And so I would make sure and go through my client list, and I always made a list of my clients that had dogs, and I would address the cards to their dog from my dog. And
Oh,
people loved it. They thought it was great. But yet, when you're networking, a lot of people are going to ask you about, well, what kind of pets do you have? People love their pets. I love my pets. I know about Kim's dogs. And so, I mean, these are things that I'm going to talk about when I see you. Well, do you have any pets? Do you have any kids? Do you have pets? Are they in sports? You know, what's your dog breed or things like that? Because people love that.
yeah, we had a guest on 2 episodes ago to kick off this realtor series, and her name's Jackie Benjamin, and we talked about using social media as a place to start conversations in person. Like, check out your social media and follow the realtors and follow the local business owners, and you may learn things about them that kind of give you a head start to your other people, because if I can come right up to Dindy and compliment her dog and talk about the hot pink tail and all that, now it kind of gives you a quicker rapport building exercise than having to first ask, well, do you have any pets? But if I already know you've got a pet, a little bit quicker to get in there and build that rapport and find the things that are in common that we have in common.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's kind of an icebreaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun. I want to ask 2 questions, but I'm going to let you guys pick which one of you wants to answer which question. The first question is, what advice would you have to either another realtor or another title person in a networking situation who is frustrated with the duplication that they find in the rooms? There's other realtors here, there's other title people here. So that's one question. And then the other question is, if you could tap your younger self on the shoulder and give her some insight as she's going about to make a difference in the world, what would you tell her?
As far as being other industries in the room, I say you can never have too many friends, too many people that are in that same industry that could help with whatever situation. I may not be able to help you in this county or this city, but contact this person over here. I would recommend another title company if I don't have anything to help them. I make friends with those other title companies so I can help the realtors or the lenders find someone that can help them in a situation that they're needing to find someone in. Um, so I never have a problem with the industry having one or more people of the title industry in there.
Oh, thank you, Kim. And it's all about the customer, right? Providing the
Yes.
customer a good experience and not being so prideful that you think that you're always the only option.
Yeah. And honestly, there's a lot of us out here, and I want to think that I give them the best customer service. But if I am not able to help them, I would like to give them to someone I know will help them or take care of them. So I have that relationship bond stay tight.
Yes.
I agree with that 100%.
Mhm.
I'm the same way with realtors. If I walk into a room and there's a lot of realtors at the networking event, I will smile at them, go talk to them. If it's a realtor I have not met, I introduce myself because you never know when we're going to do cross sales with each
Mhm.
other. Yes, we're all in competition, but we're all here to get the clients taken care of the
Yes.
best way we can. And every client that I have, I may not be the best fit for them. And if I'm not, I'm going to refer them to someone who is going to be a good fit for them.
Yeah. It's a giving mentality instead of and
Exactly.
it's an abundance mentality instead of scarcity.
Yes.
We have servant hearts. I think if in this industry, you have to have a servant heart to be able to do this and not take everything personally because it's not. It's about taking care of the customer.
And that's the number
100%.
one goal is to make sure that they are taken care of
Mhm.
and everybody is on board to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you. Do either of you have some insight that you would love to tell your younger self?
It's funny because I was just thinking about this subject a few months ago in retrospect. If I had advice to give my younger self, which is funny, I went into the medical field and was there for 25 or so years. Um, I would tell myself to allow yourself to have grace and show others grace. Because what I've learned over all of these years is you don't know what anyone is going through. They don't know what you're going through. So just be kind to everyone when you meet them. Offer them a smile. Offer them, you know, shake their hand, get to know them. You don't judge people because you never know.
That's a great answer. Well, all right. As we wrap this up, Dindy, where can people find you? And then Kim will let you have the same opportunity to tell the listeners where they can find you. I would recommend both of these ladies if you're in the middle of a real estate transaction locally to Oklahoma or Oklahoma City, I guess. They would be great resources to help you through that process. So, Dindy, where can people find you?
You can find me. My office is located at McGraw Realtors, and we are located in Moore, right off of Broadway, across the street from Sam's. Everybody knows where that is on 19th Street. If I'm not there, I'm always available by phone, and I'm very easy to find on social media. So, with my name being Dindy, distinctive name, unforgettable service.
All right. And I'll link your
Thank you
social.
for having me today.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll all be linked in the show notes. And Kim, where can people find you?
I am the marketing rep for 8 counties in Oklahoma. We have 22 counties that have Smith Brothers abstract plants in them. You can reach me at our main office in Yukon, which is where I office out of. I'm also on social media or www.smithbrothersabstract.com.
All right, and I'll have that linked. Thank you both again so much for giving us a snapshot of what it's been like to work together for many years, and to give some insights to those in my audience who are in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Faith Ann.
You're very welcome.
You've been listening to the Networkers Tour Guide podcast with Faithann Basore. Share this episode with a friend and be sure to come back next week for more networking tips and tricks from the Networkers Tour Guide.